want to introduce Tom Evans, the brand ambassador for Proverb. We want to talk you through in some more detail the product range and what is actually available to use at home, and to talk to you about our training program, 4x4x4, and how we suggest you build this new skincare program into your life.
And as we said in the part one of this podcast, if you've been lucky enough to listen to that, if not, go back and have a listen. It's a good introduction to us, to how we got into men's skincare. But one of the things we've always talked about is, frictionless, efficient, putting a product out there that, people don't think is difficult to use, they enjoy using. And there was a number of ways we could have done that. And our 4x4x4 program is definitely, the result of a lot of hard thinking, a lot of planning, and basically trying to balance that idea that, anyone can learn to use skincare. We've come up against this age-old thing about, but men can't use skincare. Well, frankly, that's not what we believe.
This is one of the things that makes me maddest in the whole world. It's like, people are like, oh, why would you sell men care? Men can't understand what serum is. Men don't understand what serum is. It's like, sorry, okay. Call me this is controversial as saying it as a woman, but still, men rule the world.
That's fact.
Still the highest number of CEOs globally, still a different pay grade for most industry. And you were telling me that they can't understand serum, which is simply you put it on underneath a moisturizer. Really?
Yeah, so just to be clear, our need to make it efficient and frictionless and integrate it in with the rest of your life is not dumbing it down. If anything, it's making you realise how if you do it properly and do it succinctly enough, that you can have a huge impact without using a huge amount of time, and also fitting it into other things and regimes that you do in a way that makes sense, and you can pick up really quickly and go, do you know what, if I add this into my life, 4 minutes in the morning, 4 minutes in the evening, I'm going to get a chance to not only improve my skin, I'm going to get a chance to think about myself, think about a day ahead, or review the day, and basically build it into a pattern to be inspired and improve your mindset beyond just skincare.
So be really clear. People are like, oh, you're going to have to make it really simple for them. They're all silly and they don't know what to do. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, we're using the numbers, but it is absolutely not because of it being the dumbed down version. No, and it's as Luke said, it's meant to be the opposite. It's meant to be actually the quite clever version. And the other thing people say to you about men is, oh, well, they don't use anything, so they can't be bothered and they haven't got any time. Well, not the men I'm talking about.
These guys spend, not just in the gym, but maybe on the bike, or just the way they eat, or even, aspiring, learning, reading about, listening to podcasts. There's a world of men out there, who are under a lot of pressure, and their capacity to perform, is degraded by all that pressure. And so, they're out there trying to find ways, to be better, basically, be a better version of themselves, feel better about themselves. And I think that goes for all people. Anyone that says they've got it nailed on, I think, is probably stretching the truth. We're all in that situation, and some people find answers quicker than others. So we're there to give answers. And so this program that we've developed, and there's an app which Ben, our other founder we talked about previously, is the mastermind behind, is going to allow you access to that. Obviously, to buy the products, but to see how to use them and to get a bespoke individual profile so that you're using the right products at the right time in the right amount. Not to mention the great news feed that we're going to have of really interesting out-the-box thinking, not just about skincare, but about the other facets we're interested in from a lot of other people, some of whom you'll be hearing about on our next podcast.
So, the range launches with 6 SKUs, and in a minute, we will go through and tell you what all of those are. However, when you are starting out, we wanted you to start with 4. So, there are 4 things that you would do AM and PM without fail if you were looking to get peak condition for skin, body, and mindset. And we have linked each bottle to a movement of how you apply it. It essentially is
gym facial.
Based around a gym facial, kind of a gym, almost like yoga workout facial. Yeah. Because, as Luke said, we want skincare on because it works and you need to protect and ensure that your skin looks healthy, because frankly, your face is what everyone else sees. It goes first.
And I was just reading in Men's Health, the processes of trying to look healthier as you age. And we don't really talk about aging, we talk about feeling healthy and looking healthy. And undoubtedly a consistent skincare regime will aid that. And the key is consistency. So that's the other reason we've talked about making it easy. It's more about making it, easy to be consistent.
Yeah. The other thing is that Luke, Ben, and I have all done huge amounts of reading and love learning different skills and basically trying to work out how, if you want to be life fueled, how if you want to make sure that you don't waste a minute of it, how you really set your day up. How can you use a system of techniques first thing in the morning to make sure that by the time you leave the door and go to work or go training or go wherever you're going, that you are literally nailed on in a winning mode and ready to achieve, and frankly walk out the door going, what great things am I going to do today? As opposed to how you probably know a lot of us walk out of the house in the morning
feeling a bit flustered,
stressed, flustered, not really wanting to go where we're going. And so each bottle has its own gym movement, which has a definite visual benefit. So we are in the first movement, for instance, looking at a neck extension where we're strengthening jaw lines. There is then a facial push press for applying the cleanser, which is about making sure you haven't got saggy jowls, ultimately.
We'll move on to an eye lift, which is fairly self-explanatory. But as we're saying this, we're talking about the physical effect, but there's also an opportunity to apply that mental side of things and think about your day. Certainly, one of the moves in the eye lift is particularly good for sensing how stressed your body is. So it's another good feedback that comes from it.
So there's a pressure point up into your orbital socket, which we do because you purposely need to take some deep breaths and focus. You can focus, you can visualize, you can just feel how good the muscular pressure feels. You can chant your affirmations. You can tell people you're going to win that day. But it gives you a little bit of time for you. And then the fourth one is a forehead fly. And we have
that's just an excuse to flex your guns.
Yeah, that is basically you looking at yourself and going, oh, wow. Which everyone needs. You need to walk out the door feeling like that. And it also gives you that 4 minutes at the end of the day for yourself as well. And there's a full video, like a 4-minute video of how to make it work, and it will help you understand the products. Now, to do this, we needed someone to do this video, and I kept making Luke practice it in our bathroom. And as much as I love him.
Yeah, we're all about honesty, as you know, Proverb, short statements of truth and advice. And I didn't look good. I just could not.
You weren't.
We even tried it in the Amar in Venice in one of the most amazing hotel rooms and double bath sinks I've ever seen, and just could not make it look good. However hard I tried.
You weren't winning at that.
Our head of marketing was like, oh my god, this is such a great idea. I can't wait to see the model do it, which was code for, man, could you make something beautiful look awful? So what did we do?
We were like, okay.
Well, we went to Pinterest to start with. I mean, again, we wanted someone that looked right, and that isn't just about being aesthetically pleasing. That's about how they live their life, about what they represent.
I just think the male skincare market at the moment, if you look at it, it's like the male aftershave market as well. Like, you got this Paco Rabanne, which if you're a woman, Paco Rabanne, absolute hottie in his little skimpy pants. But I don't know, like, how many of you don't just look at that and just think, I am being utterly, blatantly marketed to? Because you're essentially saying, use this product, you'll look or feel like this guy. I mean, I'm sorry, but what bollocks? Like,
well, I mean, it's worked for a long time. I think the feeling is now that men particularly want role models, that are deeper than that have more about them, that they can feel connected to, whether it be because of the family they have, what they put into the rest of their life, what else they've achieved, not just aesthetics. As we said, obviously,
or the
obvious way to sell something is say, buy this, look like me. But
or they'll have someone kicking a football.
yeah, we wanted someone that said, engage with this brand and get more, get more out of your life, which is what
and
I'm striving for, and that that person,
and that the face of it, if you dig truthfully into their background, genuinely lives the get out what you put in. And so when we started to talk about this face, the obvious thing, we were like, well, it probably should be someone in rugby. And then we were like, no, maybe we don't want to go to rugby because is it a bit blatant?
stereotypical.
Like, I don't know, if you put like Johnny Wilkinson on the front of it, is everyone just going to go, oh, rugby player?
We did, and at this point we did have a Pinterest board with potential candidates on it, both very well known, not so well known. And there was one person literally who jumped out. I mean, literally, not only the picture, what everyone knew about him. A little hint: he's been on Strictly Come Dancing, so he's not shy of expressing his creativity. And
everyone
flair.
that saw the Pinterest board kept saying that one.
Yeah, we want that one.
That one. And
which one I made what turned out to not, which felt at the time like a fatal error, but it turned out not to be, of saying, oh, I played with him, actually against him. And it turns out that his cousin is a very good friend of mine. And they were like, well, you can get him. Well, that was not as straightforward as simply picking up the phone, although...
And so Luke played with someone called Kai Horseman at Harlequins, who's currently still playing for Exeter. And his cousins were Tom and Max Evans, who both played for Scotland and are both lovely looking, but also both lovely guys. And Tom actually had a very, very bad injury in 2010.
In the end, he was very lucky, but obviously, as Kirstie said,
I can still remember it happening.
Yeah.
He broke his neck on during a Six Nations match against Wales. I literally can still remember watching it.
Yeah,
and
obviously at the time, your worst fear is that sort of injury. And, very quickly, luckily, it was apparent that the worst had been avoided, but really the chance of getting back to that level of rugby was probably gone.
And so I think it was a case of like millimeters. Like he was millimeters away from paralysis or death. So when you talk to him about it, he
definitely gets how important life is.
Is incredible. I mean, there was a chance he wasn't going to walk again. He'd gone from being a incredible sprinter and a international rugby player to potentially not being able to walk, and an arduous rehabilitation, but an absolute mindset of non-negotiation. This is happening. He actually not only was fixed, he ended up 5 years later standing back in Dubai,
playing sevens for Scotland in the international sevens circuit, and had achieved beyond what people thought was possible in getting there. Having spoken to him about it, interestingly, there was still doubt. I mean, it's very hard to imagine what it must be like, and I think despite having dreamt of getting back there and having achieved it, I think the reality of risking that same injury again, however small it might be, but it wasn't, I don't think, in the end enough to be playing to risk that. And so he took a really brave and tough decision to follow one of his other dreams and step aside and let the next generation play. But I think it was a big boost for him to get back and prove he could do it. But I think the thought of actually stepping forward and doing that every day would take its toll. And so that was it. Into Strictly it was.
And so then
what better segue than
over the next
Dubai International Sevens
to the glitter ball of Strictly Come Dancing. And so as a really good looking guy, Tom went on to modelling. That was an easy first choice. And then he was in the amazing series of Strictly that had Judy Murray and himself in. He did pretty well. I think he got to like week 5 or 6.
Yeah. As Kirstie mentions, he's a model, so he's easy on the eye.
And if you ever get to see the snippets that came from one of our photo shoots today, man, he can dance.
Yeah, I think he was probably sort of less well known than some of the people who got further. But
Tom basically, as far as I can tell, wanted to be an NSYNC.
Yeah.
For those of you that are
old
enough,
a boy band
who are old enough to know who NSYNC are.
He is multi-talented, really kind, family orientated. You know, literally, we spent a day with him recently. Just the sort of person you would want to spend the day with and be inspired by. So we were thrilled when he agreed to be involved. And
I'm not going to lie, the day where we had to meet him and turn up for a photo shoot, I felt a little bit like someone going to a wedding and potentially their groom might not turn up. But literally, we got there. We were already 45 minutes early.
He'd already helped set up the studio.
And he'd been there since like half an hour previous to us. So probably got there like before 7 a.m. in the morning, setting up a studio. And he was immense all day.
Yeah, he was a complete professional. Absolutely magic.
And he also...
And not only good looking, but manages to put moisturiser on in a way that, wow, I didn't even know it was possible. And I've tried to make that look good, but he nailed it first time, every time.
But for us, since rugby, he has basically dedicated his career in modelling and acting to his physique. If you look at his Instagram, at TE11, or any of his social media, you will find it's incredibly dominated by training, working hard with his brother Max. He eats clean. He chooses the right ingredients. He literally lives and breathes the ethos of get out what you put in. And hence why we were so happy to have him. And when you start to see some of the pictures coming out, beyond the depth and the dedication and the fact that he couldn't match the brand of Proverb better, he looks sensational.
Yeah, days in the office are quite tough when they're editing any footage of Tom. People get invited in from all over the place just to stare at the screen.
Our designer
while the guys in the office have to sit there feeling, for that brief moment, inferior in the looks department. But glad to say that it's a fleeting moment. Because when you realise what an awesome guy is, it's actually more about that than the way his skin looks on screen, which is still amazing.
And so he will be guiding you through your 4x4x4.
Yeah, which is really exciting. So what exactly will he be using?
Okay.
What products are there?
So
what can we be excited about? What works?
Okay.
Not all of it, but...
So a definite inside-outside concept, Proverb, because it's about truth, and all skincare brands want to tell you it's what goes on the outside. But the entire core of Proverb is a dedication to our elite professional sports, a nutritional, basically, exposure. The fact that you had a team of people running around, making sure you ate the right things, took the right supplements, did the right stuff, like you lived and breathed it. And so we have taken that sports nutritional background and literally sought out those ingredients for the bottles, as well as making sure that they match my world, which is the natural and organic ethos, and will get through EWG verification. And so Inside Outside starts with a supplement. So there is a skin resistance supplement, which is a daily supplement that people will be taking, which is your real key building blocks for skin. So vitamin C for collagen, vitamin D for muscle support, zinc for protein synthesis.
A lot of antioxidants in there, resveratrol,
hyaluronic acid
for building up skin and moisturising.
And we don't want to be like that typical girls' word where it's like, put this moisturiser on and everything will be okay. Like,
it takes a little bit more work than that.
It's bigger than that, and it's just like you going into a gym. You don't step in a gym one day and it will be okay. Like, it's about the link between what you're doing in the world for your body, like any sort of training you're doing, any exercise you're doing.
I think there's a key message in there as well about the consistency we talked about in part one. You don't go on a diet, for want of a better word, or a training regime and see results instantly. Now, we do have products in the range like the serum that have a brightening effect. They make your skin glow, and that's fantastic because that's part of the instant
gratification.
The instant gratification, the instant feeling and looking healthier. And obviously moisturising your skin, has beneficial effects to the way it looks. But actually that sort of long-term feeling of healthy skin, and I've been using the products for over 6 months now, is it goes beyond that. And I think that's one of the messages is, a bit of commitment. I mean, we're not asking, as we said, 4x4x4, we're not asking for hours in the spa or sauna, although there are definite benefits to that. We're asking for commitment, 12 weeks, get into the program, do it regularly, and it'll only take a couple of comments or, a glance in the mirror to think, you know what, I feel fresh and sharp.
It's working. So there is a supplement. There is then a dual action product.
Favourite product.
This is Luke's favourite.
Kirstie's dad takes some credit.
He asked me today actually at dinner. He's like, "Is it my formula?"
Did I pick a good one?
That went into the final bottle because they're literally being filled this week as we speak. I was like, "Yeah, it's yours." He was like, he shaves very, very regularly, so every time we got a new iteration of it, it was given straight to him. So it's
feedback was
cleanse and shave nutrient mud. So it is a clay based cleanser, and you can use it literally to wash your face, but
shave.
It is also the shaving product.
I think you could use it as a mask. I mean,
I actually do.
The formulated,
so it might be a triple action product.
I thought it might be a bit much to unpack. We'll talk about that in a blog or somewhere. But no, it's full of minerals and vitamins.
Glycoproteins. It's kind of there to really cleanse but calm. And really, the fact it's kind of removing one bottle from your arsenal, which, let's face it, is never a bad thing.
Not to mention, although people have beards nowadays, shaving is still a big part, even if you're just trimming your beard, and it can cause huge amount of irritation.
And if you do have a beard, your face still needs washing.
And a lot of exactly. But a lot of that is the product. So it's taking away some of those ingredients that cause irritation, and in fact replacing them with calming and repairing ingredients.
And so, ingredient-wise, as I said, we basically wrote a list of all the things that Luke and his teammates would eat. And so what you will start to appear when we talk to you per product in more detail in later episodes, you will find that literally these will be things you recognize.
What's amazing is when we started the ingredient research, like how aligned they were. I mean, we had talked about skincare and nutrition and the link between the two and elite sports nutrition, but when you actually started looking at, I won't give you the technical name, but tomato and egg and putting them in products, you realise it was perfect. It was perfect. And these were already being developed, for skincare because of the impact they had.
And so the two that Luke just mentioned, so I won't repeat it. In every bottle, there are 2 ingredients that are in everything. So lycopene, which comes from tomatoes. So fermented tomatoes. I
say tomato, you say tomato.
And then also egg white. I mean, it is pretty much the kind of number one protein that people think of when you think of bodybuilding, etc. And it occurs in all of the bottles and has really, really amazing, even like immediate superficial touch, but then ongoing in terms of antioxidants, protein, and also some elements of UV protection as well. So supplement, then you got your cleanse and shave mud, and then we have serum, so our skin strengthening serum. And when you go onto your app, you will do a personalized set of questions, and it will tell you whether you're using the serum, and if you are, when you're using it, AM, PM. But this is my favorite product. This is my winner.
Everyone's got to have a favorite.
Yeah, it feels beautiful to put on. And I'll admit, there's one ingredient in this that we chose, which potentially doesn't quite fit what you'd actually take as a sports person, but it maybe goes into the...
I'm pretty sure most sports people at some point.
One of the challenges, normal skincare, they make it feel really soft when you put it on by pumping it full of silicons, which are generally rubbish for you. Like, they're fake, there's no need for them, they're not really doing anything, they're just sitting there and feeling smooth. But it's what's in most moisturizers and serums, if you can see cone on the end of something. And when you don't use that, obviously you lose some of that texture. And we found something that literally feels the same. It probably only occurs in a sports arena when maybe someone is celebrating.
Post-match.
But it's actually blue agave tequila.
Which is funny, because that's what Mexicans drink.
Yeah. Part 1, refer back to the Mexicans.
If you didn't catch that quote, go back and listen to part 1 about the Mexicans and Sheriff Corn and Twickenham.
Yeah, so that's why you've got a little bit of tequila in there. But you obviously...
It's amazing, because it's also a product that takes no water to grow. It grows in a place with no rainwater.
Yeah, so from a sustainability point of view, it's also awesome. Really intriguing. But in terms of the serum, remember I said it's not difficult. Serums go underneath moisturizers. Full stop.
Well, I won't name the brand, but think underskin. Think skins that you wear underneath your t-shirt sport.
And basically, serums are highly concentrated, the really exciting bits that are going to do what the bottle promises. It's those en masse, normally in a gel or a very light cream, and you put it on, and then you stick the moisturizer over the top. And the idea is moisturizer in part traps it. Your moisturizers are technically different formulation wise. They're like a coat. Think of your moisturizer as a coat and your serum essentially as your underpants, your Under Armour.
Perfect. Which leads us nicely on to the fourth move and the fourth product, which is
your moisturizer.
And we have 2 in the opening range, both of which have been clinically tested, as we mentioned at the end of part 1 of the podcast, and have been proven to moisturize, which sounds obvious, but actually a lot of young natural brands don't even do this testing. They don't even know that is the case. And we also were fortunate enough to test ours against leading brands.
The leading brand in male skincare.
And their best-selling moisturiser, which we beat.
Yeah.
So that's...
Which we out-moisturised.
Hashtag winning.
There is a moisturiser for normal to dry skins and a moisturiser for slightly oilier combination skins. So Hydration Pro and Oil Balance Pro. And we will help you. At the point these products go on sale, we will help you work out per your skin which one we need.
Exactly, and that's exactly what the app is there for. Obviously we're there in person, but that's exactly what the app is there for, to answer the questionnaire and get an individualised program of when, how much, how often you should use the products. Which leaves the final product, our superset product, which is only in a separate category because you wouldn't use it every day.
Yeah.
So it doesn't fit neatly into the 4x4x4. And that is our excitingly named Skin Definition Facial Scrub.
Yeah, so we call it the superset one because ultimately you'd probably do it once or twice a week.
Again, depending on your program.
Yeah, and it is your scrub, which is the grains in it I love. They are like blitzed up avocado stones and coconut. Coconut is something that is used relatively frequently within the range in terms of the massive hydration benefits from coconut waters, but also we have extracted like a peptide complex, an amino acid complex from coconut, which has been in vitro lab tested to have some incredible results on actual skin aging and wrinkling. That's a technical word, I think. Yeah. Making it sound brilliant.
You making up words? Never.
And so there will be the exfoliant as well. And so that is how we launch. We've already got phase 2 formulas terrifyingly being processed because it takes a really long time to get a really good proven product to market. And those of you who are following us and part of our Lifefuelled
Pro membership,
you will always get updates on those new phase 2 products. And in fact, you may also get elements of them to test to help us with our market testing when we're at the point of thinking that maybe not just Kirstie's dad should be deciding.
So anyone signing up at www.proverbskin.com, pre-launch is going to be automatically put in our Lifefuelled Pro membership group, which is awesome. You're going to get 10% discount on products for a lifetime. You're going to get updates on products before anyone else. It's basically, worth £250 before you've even started. Plus, we're going to give you a £20 voucher to spend, and a lot of
on the 16th of October when it goes on sale.
Oh, exciting! So please share this. Please like it. Please tell people about it. Please get the word out there. We've got lots more exciting things to come before that date, but ultimately we want to get as many people involved and interested and excited as possible as we continue our mission to inspire men to healthier skin, body and mindset.
And the realization that in literally every facet of your life, you get out what you put in. That's the proverb to live by.